The Green Lantern Corps has been a big deal in DC Comics for decades. Multiple heroes who wear the glowing ring have been in the Justice League and carried their own titles, yet these heroes only show up occasionally in DC's film and TV projects, often leaving something to be desired. Here are the worst tries to the best. Even the most ardent DC fans might have missed this piece of television history from December 1997. Justice League of America was a pilot for a show about the superhero team that aired as a TV movie. It didn't generate nearly enough buzz for the project to move forward as a series, but it did give the few comic book adherents lucky enough to catch it on TV or buy a bootleg DVD at a convention a quick peek at what the legendary Green Lantern might look like in a better live-action project. This movie's version of the Justice League includes The Flash, Fire, Ice, the Atom, Martian Manhunter, and the Guy Gardner version of Green Lantern, played by Matthew Settle. It's notably missing the team's three heaviest hitters, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The Justice League also didn't get to fight a truly epic battle. Instead, they had to deal with an evil meteorologist called the Weatherman. Assuming you could even track down Justice League of America online, the movie's Green Lantern isn't very comic accurate and has a truly goofy-looking costume and face mask. It doesn't even look that green. It's more like a teal. Pretty damning stuff that they couldn't even get that right.
Thank you, Green Lantern.
Let's get him someplace safe.
The very first time that DC fans got to see Green Lantern in live action was in 1979. Legends of the Superheroes was a two-part family-friendly TV special that featured some of the biggest names in DC Comics. The Hal Jordan version of Green Lantern was played by Howard Murphy, wearing black and green spandex. Green Lantern doesn't have much to do in the special, but he does get to go up against his nemesis from the comics, Sinestro, played by Charlie Callis. Obviously, Legends of the Superheroes isn't an ideal showcase of Hal's strengths. The special effects in the 70s couldn't quite capture the Green Lantern's powers, so the character spends most of his screen time making jokes. In the first half of the special, Green Lantern and the other heroes fend off some actual supervillains, but in the second, they take part in a celebrity-hosted roast. Superhero media has come a long way since then. In almost every regard, Smallville was a major success. It premiered to big numbers in 2001 and ran for 10 seasons that documented Clark Kent's life before he donned Superman's blue and red costume. There are more than 200 episodes. As with any long-running series like that, things got, a little weird near the end. Lots of superheroes in pretty comics-accurate costumes started showing up, despite Superman still rocking regular clothes all the time. One of those heroes was Green Lantern, specifically the Golden Age version, Alan Scott. Played by Doug Pinton, Scott's Green Lantern briefly appears in a two-part episode during the show's 9th season, Absolute Justice, which is about the long-gone super team, the Justice Society of America. Sadly, we don't get to see this version of Green Lantern use his powers, and we barely learn anything about him as a character. Instead, he's just connected to the past of the JSA, which has a particularly intriguing role to play in the plot. Where Smallville had a two-part episode about the history of the JSA, Stargirl front-loads its story with it, so Alan Scott makes a fleeting appearance in that series too. The 3 seasons of Stargirl follow a teenager named Courtney Whitmore, whose life gets turned upside down when her mom remarries and the family moves from California to Nebraska. Just when Courtney thinks that her new life has become unbearably boring, she discovers that her stepdad used to be a superhero sidekick during the JSA era. Thanks to the power of a cosmic staff, she becomes a hero herself, Stargirl. The series opens with a flashback to a battle between the JSA and their aptly named arch-enemies, the Injustice Society of America. As the fight rages on, we can see the Green Lantern's light shining, but we never see him directly. The scene implies that Scott doesn't survive the battle. The entire JSA is all but destroyed.
The Justice Society, they're gone.
Stargirl earned even stronger critical approval than Smallville, but the show doesn't give Scott any real time to shine. The series does, however, put a spotlight on Jade, who's only sort of a Green Lantern. First introduced in the comics in the 1980s, Jenny Lynn Hayden is Alan Scott's daughter. She becomes a superhero in her own right, and eventually gets to wield her father's ring, even though she doesn't officially become a Green Lantern herself. Arrow is another long-running CW series that saved its Green Lantern for the end. As the title implies, the series follows the exploits of another Emerald hero, Green Arrow. The reveal of a Green Lantern ring remains one of the biggest unresolved plot threads from the 2020 series finale of Arrow. The character John Diggle had been part of the series from the very beginning. A former army officer and Argus agent, Diggle starts out as Oliver Queen's bodyguard, but quickly becomes a key part of Green Arrow's crusade against crime. For a while, he takes on the superhero persona Spartan. From time to time, there are hints that Diggle will eventually become a Green Lantern, but it takes until the series finale for him to open a box containing an object that's glowing green. We never see this version of Green Lantern suit up, use his powers, or even wear his ring. But because he's such a strong character within the Arrowverse, we're including him. DC seemed to studiously avoid making a Green Lantern a member of the title team in the 2017 Justice League movie, probably because of the failure of the 2011 Green Lantern movie. More on that shortly. In fact, no Green Lanterns appear in the original cut, but when director Zack Snyder recut the film to his original vision in 2021, a member of the Green Lantern Corps played an important role. In an extended flashback sequence showing an epic battle between Darkseid's army and Earth's defenders, an alien Green Lantern uses his powers to help smash through the onslaught of enemies. The giant battle featuring Green Lantern and other legendary heroes is one of the highlights of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and it's arguably the best version of a Green Lantern fight scene that has ever been seen in live action. Unfortunately, some genuinely impressive CGI and a few seconds of screen time isn't enough to make this one of the top Green Lanterns on our list. It's little more than a cameo. Okay, let's talk about the Ryan Reynolds starring Green Lantern movie from 2011. It isn't great. It bombed at the box office. Its Rotten Tomatoes rating is 25%. Even Reynolds himself could barely get through it. He told The Independent at the premiere, "It was an odd feeling. It was not a feeling I wanted to repeat." The film has remained the butt of many jokes, plenty of them from Reynolds himself, ever since its release.
Okay, but I've never seen Green Lantern.
Neither have I.
It routinely shows up on lists of the worst superhero movies of all time, and yet Green Lantern still features one of the best live-action versions of the character that fans have seen. Let's be clear, it's mostly because of a lack of any real competition. Though his characterization isn't really comics accurate, Reynolds does bring a cocky charm to his portrayal of Hal Jordan, and the movie at least gives him a few chances to make creative use of his powers. The story also includes the Green Lantern Corps and builds out the mythology in a way that other live-action projects haven't even attempted, mostly by virtue of being the only real game in town. This was the best live-action version of Green Lantern for well over a decade. Despite being just the first film offering an architect James Gunn's new DC universe, Superman does not shy away from bringing lots of characters from the comics pages to the screen, including Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Metamorpho. That world building is quite honestly one of the film's biggest strengths. Thankfully, every cast member gets a moment to shine, and that includes the Guy Gardner version of Green Lantern. Nathan Fillion plays Gardner, and unlike the one from the 1997 Justice League of America movie, he actually looks and acts like the guy from the comics. Fillion gets Guy's characterization across in mere minutes. He's definitely a hothead and full of himself, but ultimately he's driven to do good and live up to the Green Lantern oath.
So you know he's Clark Kent.
Why does he trust everyone?
He doesn't. Just us, because we are also of the cloth.
It's easy to laugh at Guy's constant pleas to keep the Justice Gang as the name of his super team, but we're repeatedly reminded that Guy wants to look out for his superhero friends and the general public more than he wants glory. Fillion's portrayal alone brings him to the top of our live-action Green Lantern rankings, and the fact that we're sure to get to see this version of the character again makes him even easier to like. It's time to address the elephant in the room, isn't it? While the handful of live-action depictions of Green Lantern have often disappointed, usually amounting to little more than glorified cameos and background appearances, animation has given the various Green Lanterns from DC Comics plenty of opportunity to let their light shine. In fact, Fillion himself has voiced Green Lantern, though it's always been Hal Jordan instead of Guy Gardner, in multiple animated projects, including Green Lantern, Emerald Knights, Justice League, Doom, and The Death of Superman.
I'm a member of the Green Lantern Corps. We eat monsters like this for breakfast.
The single-season Green Lantern, the animated series from 2012, included a whole bunch of Lanterns from the Corps, though the lead of the series was Hal Jordan, voiced by Josh Keaton. And of course, we have to save the best for last, the John Stewart Green Lantern, voiced by Phil LaMarr in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited from the early 2000s. LaMarr brings an incredible presence to every episode, and for our money, his John Stewart is easily the best Green Lantern you can find outside of the comics.